That's stupid. That's the way I had a reaction one time to that particular reading that we just heard about turning the other cheek. That it sounds humanly stupid. Why would I turn the other cheek? And if in those days the Romans could force a person to go carry something 1 mile, why should I go 2 miles? What is the purpose, the meaning behind all that? It really kind of goes against our grain, and there's no question about that. It goes against the human inclinations that we have. You know, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth started out as a very positive thing. It was instead of both eyes, when one eye was put out, it was reduce it to one. And so it was an act of mercy in the code of law of the time. And now we use it almost as an act of justice, you know, of punishment rather than of mercy. And so there's something really against the grain that Jesus is talking about in these readings. And it's hard for us to, I think, get our head around them. At least it is for me. But it is a great challenge, because what Jesus is saying, first of all, is don't step down. Don't reduce yourself in your behavior to that of the lowest, but rather act above that. I think that's the very first message, because it's temptation for us to lower ourselves. If someone is angry, if someone does something violent to me, yes, that natural response is to go down to their level. Where I think Jesus is saying, no, take the higher road. Stay up on the top. Don't go down to that level. Don't reduce yourself because of the evil of someone else. And in fact, go beyond that and kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness. That's the other part of that. Kill them with that generosity. Kill them with that awareness of your care and your generous self-giving, even when there's no reciprocation to that. Those are hard messages, but I think they are important ones for us. And that we are called truly to love those who are our enemies. You know, that's always difficult. During the course of the war, it's always hard to pray for the enemy, because we think we're praying to approve. No, we're praying that God's grace will somehow touch the heart of all. And Jesus is the first religious leader to ever preach to pray for your enemies. And so that is a radically new thing with Christ, is to pray for those who truly are seen as opposing us. But once again, in prayer, enemies can begin to speak to one another, and maybe reconciliation and peace can take place. To pray for our enemies, to pray for those with whom we have some challenges or difficulties, is one of the best ways to move forward in a true human and divine spirit. And that very last line of Jesus in the gospel, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. Wow, that's a tough one. We're called to be perfect as God is perfect. Maybe what we're really called to do is keep striving to be perfect as God is perfect. Jesus challenges us to become our very best self. By reason of our baptisms, we are truly sons and daughters of God. We share in the very life of God himself. And that is the reason why we are called to become ever more godlike within our lives. That is the challenge that is there. And what is heaven except being perfect as God is perfect? That's what heaven is about. And we are called to begin to experience the reality of heaven today as we seek to welcome and to reflect ever more fully that perfection of God within our own lives. These are challenging words, but they certainly are words that enable us to become our very best self, to realize the dignity that we have, and to continue to strive to live out that dignity each day. This Wednesday, we begin Lent. It's a great opportunity for us to stop and to think about our spiritual life, about how am I becoming more godlike within my life? What quality or virtue is the Lord calling me to grow in, maybe particularly this Lenten season? To take some time in the next couple days to reflect upon that question of what is God's grace inviting me to? Maybe it's a deeper time of prayer. Maybe it's greater relationship with the scriptures. Maybe it's reaching out in reconciliation to someone who's hurt us or whom I've hurt. Maybe it is just taking time to be more generous in sharing my time, my finances with those in need. Those are some of the practices of Lent that are so very important. But Lent is a very personal time. It's a time of conversion. It's a time of change. And most of all, it's a time of growth in the Spirit of Jesus. Be perfect as your Heavenly Father is perfect. Always strive after the perfection that is God, because that is our call for all eternity.